Lots of love for Ryan Gosling here tonight. Come on.
In a world where Hollywood thrives on loud personalities and flashing headlines, one man quietly changed everything, without ever raising his voice. Ryan Gosling is not the type of star who shouts for attention. He doesn't flood social media, doesn't chase the spotlight. Yet somehow the entire world leans in when he speaks. Or even when he doesn't. From his haunting silence in Drive to the raw heartbreak of Blue Valentine, from the dreamy idealist in La La Land to the plastic perfection of Ken in Barbie, Gosling has mastered the art of disappearing into every role, until you can't tell where the character ends and the man begins. But behind that calm, almost unreadable expression lies a story few really know, of pain, confusion, and a relentless fight for identity. Because long before the red carpets and Oscar nominations, there was a lonely boy in small-town Canada, bullied, isolated, and searching for a place where he could finally belong. So how did that boy, awkward, misunderstood, and nearly forgotten, become one of the most magnetic and unpredictable forces in modern Hollywood? This is the untold story of Ryan Gosling, the quiet storm who rewrote the rules of fame. Ryan Thomas Gosling was born on November 12, 1980 in London, Ontario, a quiet Canadian town far removed from the glitter of Hollywood. His father, Thomas, worked in a paper mill, and his mother, Donna, was a secretary. Life was ordinary, sometimes unstable. When Ryan was just 13, his parents divorced, and that split would shape the quiet intensity that would later define his screen presence. At school, things weren't easier. Ryan struggled with dyslexia and found it hard to fit in. He was often bullied for being different. A sensitive kid with big dreams in a small place that didn't understand them. His imagination became his refuge. He'd spend hours alone, reenacting movie scenes or inventing characters to escape the noise of the real world. But even in that solitude, there was fire. After watching First Blood as a child, Gosling became obsessed with acting. He made cardboard knives, mimicked Rambo's voice, and began to believe movies were a place where he could belong. He once said, "I felt invisible as a kid, but when I acted, I could finally be seen." That sense of searching, for identity, for recognition, for meaning, would follow him through every performance he ever gave. From a shy boy in Ontario to a dreamer with something to prove, Ryan Gosling's journey was just beginning. Ryan Gosling's first real escape from small-town Canada came when he was just 12 years old. He auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club, a launchpad that had already given rise to future icons like Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and Christina Aguilera. To everyone's surprise, the quiet boy from Ontario made it in. He moved to Orlando, Florida, where he lived with Timberlake's family during filming. But while others were groomed for pop superstardom, Gosling was different. He wasn't the best singer or dancer, and when the show ended, he found himself adrift. Returning to Canada, he bounced between small TV roles, Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Breaker High, projects that paid the bills but didn't feed his ambition. At 19, he packed up again and moved to Los Angeles, determined to break into serious film acting. Casting directors weren't sure what to do with him. He wasn't classically handsome in the Hollywood sense, and his quiet demeanor confused people used to loud confidence. Then came The Believer, 2001, an independent film about a Jewish neo-Nazi struggling with his identity. It was raw, uncomfortable, and brilliant. Gosling's performance stunned critics, winning the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance and proving he wasn't just another Disney graduate. He was an artist. That film changed everything. Hollywood suddenly paid attention. A new kind of leading man had arrived, introspective, unpredictable, and quietly explosive. After The Believer, Ryan Gosling became Hollywood's quiet obsession. Directors saw something rare in him, a storm beneath still water. In 2004, he landed the role that would change his life forever, The Notebook. Playing Noah Calhoun, a poor but passionate young man hopelessly in love, Gosling turned a simple romance into one of the most beloved love stories in modern cinema. The film was a box office phenomenon, and his chemistry with Rachel McAdams became the stuff of legend. Overnight, he went from indie actor to global heartthrob. But Gosling didn't want to be just a pretty face. While studios lined up romantic scripts, he walked away, chasing roles that terrified him instead of those that glorified him. His performances in Half Nelson, 2006, as a drug-addicted teacher, and Lars and the Real Girl, 2007, as a man in love with a doll, earned him critical acclaim and an Academy Award nomination. He proved he could make audiences cry, laugh, and feel uncomfortable, sometimes all in the same scene. Then came Blue Valentine, 2010, a brutal portrait of love's decay. Gosling's raw vulnerability shocked even his fans, yet he followed that darkness with Drive, 2011, a minimalist masterpiece that redefined the modern anti-hero. He barely spoke, but his silence was louder than most actors' monologues. By the time La La Land 2016 arrived, Gosling was untouchable. His performance as the jazz dreamer Sebastian not only won him a Golden Globe, but reignited the world's love affair with musicals. He could dance, sing, break hearts, and still remain mysterious. From art house cinema to global blockbusters, Ryan Gosling became a symbol of a new kind of Hollywood masculinity, one that didn't shout but whispered with power. For someone living in the glare of fame, Ryan Gosling has always remained a shadow. He doesn't crave the spotlight, and that silence has often made people uneasy. While other stars built empires out of publicity, Gosling disappeared between films, refusing interviews, skipping premieres, and avoiding social media entirely. That mystery became both his armor and his curse. Hollywood tried to label him the brooding romantic, the indie darling, the reluctant hero. But Gosling never played along. After Only God Forgives, 2013, a film that polarized critics, he suddenly vanished from the screen. For nearly 2 years, he refused every major offer. Rumors swirled. Burnout, creative exhaustion, personal crisis. Some said he was done with acting altogether. In one rare interview, he admitted, "I felt I was losing myself in the noise. I needed to step away and remember why I started." That moment of withdrawal revealed the core of Gosling's character. A man at war with fame, forever balancing the love of art and the fear of losing authenticity. Even his relationship with actress Eva Mendes drew speculation. They kept everything private, from their romance to the birth of their 2 daughters. While tabloids chased scandals, Gosling quietly built a life far from Hollywood. No paparazzi, no chaos, no show. And yet, his silence often sparked more rumors than truth. Was he difficult to work with? Detached, emotionless? In reality, Gosling simply refused to play Hollywood's game. The greatest scandal of his career wasn't a mistake. It was his decision to disappear, to choose peace over attention, authenticity over noise. But that silence didn't end him. It prepared him for a new chapter, one that would redefine not just his career, but his identity. When Ryan Gosling finally returned to the screen, he did it not with noise, but with gravity. His comeback began with The Big Short, 2015, a sharp, cynical film that reminded everyone of his effortless charisma. Then came La La Land, 2016, the movie that changed everything. As Sebastian, the jazz musician chasing an impossible dream, Gosling delivered a performance that felt deeply personal, like an echo of his own struggles between passion and reality. He sang, danced, and bled emotion in a film that became a global phenomenon. The world fell in love with him again, but this time for his artistry, not his looks. Then he went higher and quieter, with First Man, 2018. Playing Neil Armstrong, he captured the loneliness and emotional weight behind one of humanity's greatest achievements. Critics called it one of his most mature performances, restrained, introspective, deeply human. Outside the spotlight, Gosling embraced fatherhood. With Eva Mendes, he built a private world filled with family rather than fame. He chose to raise his daughters away from cameras, saying, "Being a dad is more important than being an actor." And when Barbie, 2023, arrived, Gosling surprised everyone again. turning the role of Ken into a cultural phenomenon. He laughed at his own image, deconstructed masculinity, and reminded the world that even the quietest stars can still burn the brightest. Ryan Gosling was no longer just an actor. He had evolved into a symbol of balance, creativity, and control. Ryan Gosling's story isn't one of chaos or controversy. It's one of quiet rebellion. In a world that rewards noise, he built a career on silence. He never chased fame, yet it followed him. He never tried to fit in, yet he changed what it means to be a leading man. Through his films, Gosling taught Hollywood something rare, that vulnerability can be powerful, and stillness can speak louder than words. Whether he's a broken lover in Blue Valentine, a dreamer in La La Land, or a doll questioning his worth in Barbie, every performance carries the same heartbeat: honesty. He once said, "I don't know if I'll ever understand Hollywood, but I know I don't need to." That's Ryan Gosling, the man who turned mystery into art, who walked away from the noise only to return stronger, calmer, truer. Today, he stands not as a Hollywood archetype, but as a reminder that authenticity still matters. Because the journey of Ryan Gosling proves one simple truth: you don't have to shout to be heard. Sometimes, silence is the loudest thing in the room. If you were inspired by his story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood journeys.